Hi, my name is Samson Modiani, and I'm here to introduce Kenyan megaliths through ancient megalithographics. Ancient megalithographics is the name I derived from three words: ancient to mean antediluvian structures, megaliths to imply huge stones, and graphics to imply how they were done. Ancient megalithographics therefore becomes a platform whereby we can be able to understand ancient works and ancient writings, where we look at getting the secrets of ancient works and understanding details of ancient biblical writings. By doing so, we'll be able to get the secrets, the secrets of ancient works through simple, science, referring back to historical accounts and understanding the context of the scriptures of the ancient times. Ancient Megalithographics is a platform that I formed basically to be in a position to give out secrets of Kenyan megaliths. After many years of research starting from 2017, 2018, thereabout. Kenyan megaliths entail Kitimikai. Kitimikai is in a place called Seme in Kisumu County. We have a Bindu cave in a place called Nyara Kombok in Kisumu County. And we have the crying stone of Ilesi in a place called Shinyalu, Ilesi, Kakamega County. Now these three structures, they are under the Kenya National Museum. Kitimikai was gazetted by the National Museums as an heritage of interest in 2003. In 2016, it was put under the protection by the Museum Antiquities and Heritage Sites Act. In 2019, it was registered by UNESCO, the Culture and Heritage. But when you look at these sites, the way people go to view these sites, you see that there's much more detail behind it. So out of it, we've been able to understand that these structures are actually handmade. There is human work that was really done in these three megalithic structures. First and foremost, when you look at Kitimikai itself, there is a map of Africa, which is engraved, and a map of Kenya, which is embossed. These are two different artistic works on granite stone. How did these people do this thing? When you look at the top capstone of Kitimikai, it targets true north of the planet and it resembles the head of a viper. The trick is this: if you get a phone, go to Google Earth, search Kitimikai, look for the compass cursor, align it with Kitimikai, you'll confirm that it targets true north of the planet at 360 degrees accurate. On the site, have a handheld compass, or have a watch that has got a compass, or have a phone that has got a compass. It will also align to the true north of the planet. Now, one thing is, when you lift up a drone about 240 degrees above the center axis, you'll be able to see the surrounding stones, and they are also aligned to the sun risings and sun settings. At the east, minus 90, you'll be able to get the winter solstice, that is a 66, 67, and on east and south, you'll be able to get plus 23.4, 90 at 113 is southeast. Now, on the west, it's also emulated on the same. And that tells you the end interest in understanding the sun risings and so sun settings. So Kitimikai is one of the structures in the planet that reads all equinoxes and all solstices real time. You just need to have a sun calculator on your phone, and you go on that site on those particular times. You'll be able to see sun ray penetrations, and during equinox you'll be able to see the sun aligning, following a specific cut site in the inside chambers. Now this demonstrates that basically these structures were handmade. There is another thing that comes in with that the coordinates of Kitimikai is 34 degrees east longitude, and it is like just minus 4 degrees longitude from the longitude that runs from the pyramid of Giza downwards. The striking thing is the height of Kitimikai is 34 meters. So how did they decide to have a structure which is 34 meters aligned, to its coordinate? Now this mesmerizes everybody, and this is the reason why we say Kitimikai is made by hand. Now, the crying stone of Ilesi in Kakamega also manifests the same. It has landmarks aligned to the geographical position of the planet. And during the equinoxes, that is the vernal and autumnal equinox, it gives a pin-like a dagger type of a shadow during both equinoxes. Now, the Abindu cave in Yara Kombok has very huge writings. One thing is that the height of the Abindu is at 25 meters tall. The writings down there, they are very long. And this emulates other writings on huge ancient rocks on the planet. Now, the striking thing that we see with all these megaliths is the heights and the size of the stones. I've said that Kitmika is 34 meters tall in complex balance, huge stones, and that is, making Kitmika one of the most amazing megalithic structures in the world. When you look at the grindstone of Ilesi is 18 meters to the neck. When you add to the capstone, it makes about 19 meters tall, therefore making it one of the tallest capped menhirs on the planet. Now, these three structures are not the only ones. We have other structures were like this in the world. We have Stone Age in UK, which is also in similar pattern as studied by other researchers. It has a height of around 4 meters in height, and then scientists have been able to confirm that it's also aligned to the solstices. In fact, tourists usually go to see the sun risings and settings during that time of the summer. Britain also has another site called Kalanish. It's also aligned to the sun risings and settings as well. We go to a place called Peru in South America. We're looking at Saxon-Yohaman. The stones are like 5 and they're about also aligned in columns to up to 18 meters tall. Pumapunku and Tiwanaku, which are megalithic sites as well. You move from South America, you go to France, you find Lines de Canac. You go down to Mexico, you're going to find the Chichen Itza. Okay, all these are sites. Then you go back to Egypt, you're going to find, how the ancient civilizations did all this. So researchers across the world have similar attestations like I do, and we'll be able to say for real that these structures were made by advanced civilizations that we do not have as of now today. Now, ancient civilizations had knowledge that we do not know, which fall in geographical understandings, that is, geographical sciences. Geology, they had advanced workings on the stones, handling of the stones, complex technologies that we human beings do not have. They had knowledge of the sky. They knew how the sun moves, rotates the planet, and so on, even the stars. And that is why these structures can only be explained under scientific understanding. The other thing that falls on all this thing is about archaeology, historical accounts of archaeological findings of giant bone skeletons and so on. When you combine all this, you find that we cannot be able to evade the human history, whereby we'll be able to understand the creation story. We do understand the pre-flood story. We do understand the flood story. Then we also have to understand the apocalypse, because all these ancient civilizations, we do not have them. And scientists have been able to attest for real that there was once a lost civilization which was wiped out by a certain catastrophic event. So what is happening? We find ourselves being able to go back to the biblical writings where we'll be able to understand about the stories of the giants, the watchers, the way the watchers came, they said the sons of daughters. That is the book of Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. We move ahead to understand about the characters of angels and the attributes of giants and the kind of teachings that they were taught, which we'll be able to refer to the lost books of Enoch, book of Jubilees, book of Joshua, Apocalypse of Peter, and the Gospel of Peter. We also need to look at the Piece of Barnabas, which talks about the doctrine of angels, and then Apocalypse and Gospel of Thomas. So these lost books really give us an insight of really what happened before. By so doing, we find that researchers right now, they are propagating, or rather, they are giving insights concerning Asians, and they do promote these sites. At the moment, we see Egyptologists and megalithic scientists in Britain, they are leading in research of these Asian civilizations. For example, they too lead in terms of promoting these Asian sites for tourism, that is science, history, and biblical understanding. Egypt at the moment taps about 14.7 million tourists annually. People just go there to see these ancient sites. Britain taps about 1.3 million tourists on people who go to see and tour these ancient megalithic sites, that is Stonehenge, Kalanish, and other megalithic structures in Britain. South America, in Peru, they tap about 1.6 million tourists who go to see these ancient structures in Sacsayhuaman, Mapuku, Machu Picchu, and others. We look at Mexico. Mexico tapped about 2.6 million tourists who usually go to see the Mayan cultures in the temple of Kulkukan, that is in Chichen Itza. So when you look at the kind of revenue and the kind of tourism that goes around megalithic structures in the world, we find ourselves here in Kenya, we've been left behind. And this is an opportunity that we have, that we can be able to market our Kenyan megaliths through scientific, historical, and biblical understandings. In which case, we can be able to tap much more revenue on these megalithic sites. Even that, we talked about 2.4 million tourists last year from other tourism, other forms of tourism. If we engage ourselves in megalithic research in this country, we are going to see ourselves boosting up tourism from about 500,000 tourists yearly, advancing to about 1 million or so, and that will mean by close of about 1 or 2, 3, 4 years, we can be able to tap at least even to about 5 million tourists going to our Kenyan megaliths. I call upon, therefore, concerning these matters, that we can be able to engage in various forms. I call upon the concerned parties in the national museums, tourism, board, that we can be able to link up and see what we can be able to see to do that our megaliths can be of benefit for us as Kenyans. We call all the Kenyans, if possible, that they can be able in a position to start understanding about ancient civilizations, because as we speak, other countries have really done a lot of research on ancient civilizations, and the moment is what we call a catastrophic disclosure, which is slightly going on, as starting from South America and Peru. That for like about I think last year, they've been able to discover some pterodactyls. You'll be able to see some of these mummies which have been discovered. When we look forward to all this, we can be in a position to engage. I'm available that I can be able to discuss this thing one-on-one, either one-on-one on conferences. I'm also ready to interact with researchers, megalithic researchers, cosmologists. I'm ready to engage with archaeologists. I'm also ready to engage with paleontologists, anthropologists, historians, biblical scholars, and this also goes to the church, that in a manner we can be able to understand the lost history of mankind. Now, for more details, you can be able to contact me on my website, that is www.ancientmegalithographics.com, whereby in that website I've been able to give a few details concerning my research. There's a gallery there, and I've explained quite a number of things concerning our Kenyan megaliths. I've also given references to other megalithic researchers like Megalithomania UK, Ancient Codes, Ancient Aliens, and so on. And also in the YouTube, you can be able to read, to search more about megalithics research, that you find I'm not the only one on the planet who is discussing this, but in the Kenyan land, yes, I could be. So I call upon all to be with us. I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to engage. For all those willing to support me on this project, I call upon you that you may be able to do so. You can be able to engage further. May God bless you, and see you in the next episode of Ancient Megalithographics.